Intent is a mental assessment, essentially. So, what it is that you believe a certain thing about life, and then you process your life in that way. You change how you operate. So, when you reflect on what you do every day and you act within that light and you act within that ideology, that aligns with either positivity or negativity, right? Truth or falsity, good or evil. So alignment then is the proof of your intent. Essentially, what it is that you are most likely to do when all the cards are removed and you're given a choice to either be one way or the other. What is your likely choice for the outcome, right? That furthers to intent. And so when you act in this world, when you act on your alignment and your choices foreshadow your intent, then your alignment is shown through that. Intent, though, is not a one trick. Intent doesn't have to be the same, right? You don't have to do everything based on your alignment. There are some things you're going to do out of alignment because your choices don't have to be confined to one alignment. And this is why humans, or humanity, has both traits of good and evil, both truth and falsity, both positivity and negativity. And you can't really have life without both. It's not dynamic enough. It's not as profound. It's not as fulfilling. If we had a world with pure positivity and no negativity, our minds would be searching for that negativity so much that we'd go insane. If we live in pure negativity with no positivity, our minds will be in such denial of reality that we'd hate to continue living in that negativity, searching for some positivity somewhere. And the dopamine and the drugs and the addictions. Tell me what that looks like. Tell me what that reminds you of, right? But when you understand this kind of stuff, you start to piece together why it is that we have both spectrums, that we live in both, that both are attributed to everybody. You got to understand that there is no one way to live, even if you have alignment. Your intent is just how that alignment shows itself in reality and what you're likely to do. But of course, that doesn't mean that you're incapable of doing the opposite or doing something different, because you have the power of free will. That's what the power is given to everyone. That power is given to every single person in this world. You can be either good or evil at any time, any place, to anybody. If you think about other areas of the world, this stuff is more categorized. Many other areas who base their system or structure on religion are more likely to have positive morals at the foundation, meaning they're more likely to do positive things instead of negative things, although they still can do the negative things, right? Punishment, reprimanding, things of that nature, right? Those are negatives, but they come in protection to the positives, right? So when you think about it in that light, you understand that negativity can't live without positivity, and positivity can't live without negativity, because they both prove each other. They both give weight to one another. They're a symbiosis. They're the yin and yang of this world, and it's why they're so important to the foundation of the structure. It enables the universe, right? It enables everything. If we don't have both, then there is no reason to do one or the other. If you only have one, then you're only going to do one. That's how everybody has to live. If you think about that, that sounds very robotic. It sounds like clones. It doesn't sound like novelty. It doesn't sound like creativity, freshness, uniqueness. It just sounds like one card, and that's how you're playing. And that's how you play the game, is one card. That doesn't sound fun, does it? You like when there's many cards. You like when there's 2 through 10. You like when there's kings, queens, jays, and aces. You like when there's jokers, right? Because it gives dynamic range to the whole game itself. You don't want to just have the one trick. You don't want to just have one way. So intent involves both good and bad spectrums, both positive and negative spectrums, meaning that all humans have both within them. That aligns with the planet, which means that they're interconnected and they're also connected to the planet at the same time. You're born here because you have a connection to this universe. You are somehow a part of the structure, right? You're born at a certain time and you live your life in whatever alignment. But you can do both good and bad, and you change the world based on how your intent reveals itself. A great analogy to think about this, so you know what it is that the human looks like in this way. One of the most advanced living organisms. Think about the 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. A gas is chaotic. A gas has no structure, no form. It moves freely. That can be dangerous. But it moves, right? That's the whole purpose of it, is to move. It never stops. So there's a benefit to that, right? Forever progression. And that can be forward or backward, depending on your alignment or what your choices represent. But as a gas, you're free to do anything at all, completely. It has no structure though. So the deficit is that it goes anywhere. And it just moves. There's nothing to define with it. It's just movement. Meaning that there's nothing to pinpoint on it. There's no value. There's no standard to it. It's just movement. So let's further this on to a solid. A solid has structure. A solid has some sort of values, but they stick in one place. Very difficult to move out of the solid, right? The more you melt the solid, the more it changes, but it refuses to be that. And if it does melt, it's less of a solid. It's less of its structure. So it can have structure, but it's not necessarily the same as a gas, where it's free and chaotic. It has one way to be. So that's good, right? Structure. It allows consistency, more believability, but it's less chaotic. It has less movement. And so that means that it's confined to one thing or one way, which limits its potential, right? Not so good. So if we think about both of those and we combine, then we end up with the liquid state, which is to me the most beneficial. It's the balanced state, a symbiosis. A liquid, or water, conforms to its container. It can be chaotic, it can move freely, endlessly, and it does have structure depending on where it is, but it doesn't have to be one way. It's fluid. It flows fluidly. It has the ability to be this or that, depending on what's most beneficial to it, right? That container. As the container changes shape, so does it. meaning that water has a deep adaptability within it in its programming, right? And that's probably way more beneficial than a gas or solid. It doesn't have to be one way. It can be both. It has qualities of both. And that balance allows dynamic range. So now it can be whatever it wants to, wherever it goes. And so when you think about this as far as humans, they can be both good and evil. They can be both positive and negative. And that allows them the freedom to do what they want. But they should have structure. They should have morals and values. That allows them to at least mitigate damage or harm, right? That at least allows it to be, or humans to be, more fluid and flow much more fluidly. Whereas if they were a gas and chaotic, they are at the whims of their surroundings. They are whatever their surroundings are. They have no standards, no morals. And so they can move endlessly and at a great speed, but they move anywhere. And they change to whatever the environment is, removing the personality, which is not good. That means that the uniqueness is gone. The quality is gone. The diversity is gone. That's all I have for today. I know some of this stuff is already it's pretty obvious. Everybody can do both, and it allows for dynamic range, but I know sometimes some people don't know how to connect that to the universe or that to other things. So me bringing in the connection is kind of novel in that way. And so, I like to bring in my perspective because I know some people don't really know how to connect as well, or how to understand things in multiple ways or multiple perspectives. So when I bring it in like that, and other people do as well, it allows you to see how it's possible and how you can do that yourself, and probably try to branch that out to something else that we've never seen. And then you have your new perspective on life. But anyways, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.